remember na for our crystalline solids, commonly ito sila, network covalent o kaya ionic, no? Pwede rin naman metallic yung crystalline solids, no? But ito yung common na yan, itong dalawa. Okay? So, for crystalline solids, commonly ito yung forms of attraction nila. Pag metals, medyo iba, no? Such as this one. Okay? Metallic bond. Yan yung mag-explain bakit siya malleable, bakit siya flexible, bakit siya conductive. Okay? So, yun yung sasagot ng lahat ng problem natin. May baby cat kasi dito. May nanganak. Anyway, so yun. Ano ba meron kapag metallic bonding? It follows the sea of electron model. Sea of electron model. Okay, so ano ba meron kapag sea of electron? Naisipin mo yan that the nucleus of the atoms are the islands and the electrons, the valence electrons of the metals are the sea, no? So sila yung dagat, no? So parang itong nasa picture na to, ito yung mga islands, the nucleus, and then the electrons are freely moving around it. So yan yung sea of electron model. This model actually describes why metals are conductive and malleable and ductile. In this image on the right, you can see that yung nucleus ng ating atoms, they can slide pass through another, no? You know, for example, hinampas mo doon yung bakal, the atoms will just simply flow to the other side, no? Because of the sea of electron model. So, yan, para siyang, yung electrons natin, para siyang lubricant, no? That allows the atoms to be pushed to the other side without breaking. Okay? So, yan, hampasin mo dito, hampas. So, magfo-flow lang yung atoms to the other side. That's why metals are malleable, no? Kaya sila bendable. And yan din yung reason bakit sila pwede i-pull into shorter wires. No? Okay? So, yan lang. Nagsaslide lang yung atom sa sea of electrons. Bakit sila conductive? Because of the sea of electrons as well. Okay? So, ito yung sea of electrons. For example, you connect it into power supply. The anode will give extra electrons. That extra electron will just pass through the metal. Now, for example, ito yung anode. Maglalabas ng electron yung anode, di ba? Remember your electrochem. Maglalabas yun ng electron. Tatagos lang yung electrons to the other side. Ganun lang. So, tatagos lang sila papunta doon. That's why they are conductive na. Kasi may sea of electrons. But, to further explain bakit yung ibang materials hindi conductive, may electrons din naman sila, is we need to use another theory in chemistry that is called the valence band theory. Okay, so the valence band theory further explains the sea of electron model. Kasi dito, it explains the orbitals, no, in which the electrons reside in the molecule. No? So for example, we have lithium here. The electronic configuration will be 1s2, 2s1. Okay, so that is the 2s electron. For example, this lithium atom has one valence electron. This another lithium atom has also one valence electrons. Kapag marami kang valence electrons, mag-overlap yung mga yan, forming this region. This region wherein andito yung mga valence electron, we call it the valence band. And the region na empty, we call this the conduction band. And mapapansin mo, kapag pinagpatong-patong mo yung orbitals ng ating metals, the conduction and the valence band will actually overlap. No? Magkapatong din sila. Minsan overlapping pa nga. No? So, the overlapping of the valence band and the conduction band causes the metal to be conductive. Kasi, in order for a material to be conductive, it has to reach the conduction band. So, kailangan mag-flow siya. No? Kailangan sumobra yung electron sa conduction band. So, kunwari, isaksak mo yung lithium sa kuryente, that extra electron will actually pass through the conduction band. So, since may electron sa conduction band, conductive siya. Okay? So, paano naman yung ibang materials? For example, yung kahoy, yung plastic, ba't hindi sila nagko-conduct ng kuryente? Kasi, ganito. For metals, remember that the valence and the conduction band are close to one another. Actually, they overlap at times. No? So, ibig sabihin yan, transferring electron from valence to conduction band is very easy. Madali lang. Kasi, ano lang eh, maglagay ka ng isang sobrang electron, nandito na siya agad sa conduction band. So, conductive agad yan. However, for other materials, the difference in the energy levels of the valence band and the conduction band increases. For example, for semiconductor, we have this called the band gap or the energy gap. For insulators, we have a very big band gap or energy gap. No? So the bigger the difference between the conduction and the valence band, the more insulator it becomes, no? The less conductive it becomes, no? Kasi hindi na makakatalo yung electron papunta doon. So kapag hindi makatalo yung electron papunta sa conduction band, hindi yung magko-conduct ng kuryente. So that's why some materials are conductive, others are not, no? So plastic, ito yun, plastic insulator yon. Because the difference of the energy levels of the conduction and the valence band are big. So, kapag kinuryente mo yung plastic, yung electron, hindi siya makakatalon doon. Hindi makakatalon doon. So, as a result, hindi yung magkakonduct ng kuryente. However, if you have a metal, kuryente mo yon, madali siya makakapunta doon. Okay? So, by the way, malalim pa to, pero yun lang yung overview, no? Ang overview lang is that for metals, magkadikit yung conduction pati valence. So, kapag may sobrang electron, diretso conduction siya. Kaya siya nagko-conduct ng kuryente. However, for other materials, semicon and insulator, may gap, may energy gap. Yun talaga tawag doon, energy gap. So, may energy gap, kaya hindi makatalon yung electron to the other side, so hindi sila nagko-conduct ng kuryente. Siguro you may ask, di ba sir, ginagamit yung semiconductor sa devices, no? Kunwari, laptop natin, cellphone natin, iPad, no? Even yung mga ventilador, may mga semiconductor yan, no? So, parang contradicting yan sa sinabi mo, sir, di ba? Parang ganun kasi idea. Sabi ko, pag may band gap, hindi agad makakatalon electron doon. Totoo yun. Okay? Kapag yung semiconductor, yan ay nasa pure state niya, for example, silicon lang, pag yan ay nasa pure silicon state, it will not conduct electricity. You have to do something para mag-conduct ng kuryente yan. That something is called the doping. Doping. Shanty dope. Doping. Yan yung process wherein you introduce impurities to your semiconductor for it to be conductive. Okay? Kasi pag walang impurity, hindi gagana yan. For example, yung buhangin sa dagat, silicon yon, kuryentehin mo yon. Nakuryente ka ba? Hindi. Pero lagyan mo ng impurity yan. Doon yun magiging conductive. Okay? So again, a semiconductor in its pure state is neither a good conductor nor a good insulator. Wala lang. Okay? Pero in order for it to work, you have to introduce impurities. That is called doping. Ayan talaga tawag doon. Doping process. So, if you dope your semiconductors, especially silicon, dalawa uri magagawa mo. You have the N-type doping and the P-type doping, or the N-type semiconductor and the P-type semiconductor. Ano difference ng dalawa? Ganito. Ang silicon, 4 yung valence electrons niyan. So, ibig sabihin nun, kapag maglagay ka ng atom na 4 valence electrons din, hindi yun mapupunta sa conduction band. Nasa valence band yung electrons na yun. So, in order to increase the number of electrons, you need to add a pentavalent atom, a pentavalent impurity. So, for example, other than silicon, you need to add antimony, arsenic, phosphorus, bismuth, no? So, you can add this pentavalent atom so that may sobrang electron. Yung sobrang electron na yon, mapupunta yon sa conduction band, no? Kasi may isang sobra eh. Yung 4 andito, yung +1 nasa conduction band. Therefore, magko-conduct ng kuryente yan. Okay? So, yun yung sobrang electron. N-type, sobrang electron. So, ano nilalagay kapag N-type? Pentavalent impurity such as arsenic, phosphorus, bismuth, and antimony. Okay? So, ganun. You are introducing free electron to the conduction band. Kaya, mag-flow yung kuryente. Yan. So, yan yung nangyayari sa ating computers. No? Another type of doping is the P-type doping. Sa P-type, imbes na sobrang electron, maglalagay ka ng kulang ng electron. Parang weird, no? Kasi ang goal dapat talaga to reach yung conduction band. Pero, pwede rin naman pala na kahit hindi mo ma-reach yung conduction band, mag-conduct yung semiconductor. Ano meaning ko doon? Okay, ganito kasi ginagawa kapag P-type conductors. Naglalagay ka ng atom that is trivalent, no? Ibig sabihin nun, kulang ng electron na isa. Again, 4 yung electrons ng silicon, maglalagay ka ng 3 electrons lang. Bakit? Kasi you want to introduce holes, no? So may mga butas dyan, wherein kapag kunwari nakita ni silicon, uy, may butas doon, if-fill niya yon. So it seems that the electron is flowing. Then yung magkaka-hole dyan, yung electron, pwede i-fill yan, and that will be a chain of reaction. So yung isang hole lang ng electron doon, kasi kinulang nga, pwede yung mapunan ng ibang atoms. And magiging chain of events yun, no? So, pupunan niya yung hole doon, tapos may bagong hole, pupunan ng panibagong electrons, yung bagong hole, papunan ng bagong electron. That will continue so that the electrons will flow. Okay? So, even hindi niya ma-reach yung conduction band, magfo-flow pa rin yung kuryente because of the hole. Okay? Yung hole, pupunan ng electrons. Tapos, pag napunan yon, magkakaroon ng panibagong hole. And tuloy-tuloy yun. So, magfo-flow pa rin yung electrons. Okay? So, the dopants for the P-type semiconductor are those in the group 3 of the periodic table. Yan yung boron, aluminum, indium, gallium. No? Ayan yung mga ginagamit. So, again, pag N-type, you increase the number of electrons by introducing pentavalent impurities such as those in group 5. No? Yung phosphorus, bismuth, antimony, arsenic. No? Yung nitrogen, hindi mo siya ilalagay. Kasi gas yun. Gas yun. Kailangan solid eh. Okay? So, yun yung N-type semicon. Pag P-type semiconductor, you introduce holes. Ibig sabihin, kulang ng electron. And then, bahala na sila mag-transfer. Yung silicon na yung magpapasa ng electron para mapunan yung hole. No? So, as a result, the electrons will continue to flow. No? Even though they are not able to reach the conduction band. Okay? So that concept is used in semiconductors in our integrated circuits. However, common example na yon. Since this is Chem4Eng, I want to focus on the energy. No? So kaya ito example ko, the solar panels. As you can see, our solar panels are just semiconductors. No? Semiconductor lang yon. It is composed of 2 layers, and in between them, you have the p-n junction, okay, wherein the electrons can travel as well. Okay, so the holes can travel here then pala. Okay, so ang nangyayari dito is that the sun will shine, yung N-type conductor, yun yung nasa surface. So when the sun shines on the N-type conductor, the electron will get excited. So it will be transferred to the conduction band. No? As they transfer to the conduction band, they will pass through this wire to the device that collects the electricity. Okay? Then, yung electron na yon, pupunta yun sa N-type, sa P-type semiconductor sa baba to fill the hole. Okay? So, kumbaga ganito lang. Sisikat yung araw, yung electron dito, mapupunta sa conduction band, magta-transfer dito, and then, yung hole sa ilalim, sa P-type semiconductor, pupunan niya. And that process will cycle over and over again. Okay? So, ganun lang. Ganyan yung ganap ng semiconductors, no? So kumbaga, yung sun, i-excite niya lang yung electrons sa n-type conductor, semiconductor. Okay? So excite electron, pupunta dito, then pupunan yung hole. Then that will cycle over and over again. Okay? So in the solar panel industry, this is the efficiency of the solar cell. As you can see, in 1970s, past 1975, we only have an efficiency of around, ito ay less than 1%, ito ay around 5%, ito mga 8% above. Mapapansin mo, in the early 1970s, we only have very low efficiency for the solar panels. However, as time progresses, mas marami na tayong alam with the semiconductor and the dopants, no? Yung mga di ginagamit sa doping, na improve natin yung ating mga techniques. So, as a result, tumaas yung efficiency niya. Okay? So tumaas yung efficiency niya. So, imagine from around 1%, naging ano na siya. Ganito. Ang highest would be the 47% efficiency. Okay? So yan. So ang ginagawa nila diyan sa research ng ng solar cells, they just change the materials sa N-type, sa P-type, pati sa junction. And they just change the materials there. Okay? And by changing the materials, the efficiency varies as well. And as you can see, the trend is upwards, no? Because of the advancements in chemistry and physics. Kaya hopefully, in the next few decades, we will achieve higher efficiency for solar panels. No? Kasi if we continue relying on coal and oil, mamamatay na tayo. Okay. Nakita niyo sa Twitter yung yung video na sa Gulf of Mexico yun eh. Yung dagat mismo nasusunog, no, because of the leakage sa oil. Ayun, parang ganun, dagat-dagatang apoy talaga. Imagine yun, no? That could literally happen to us, no? Wildfires, yung dagat nagliliyab, no? So yun, the world is not in a good place if we continue to use coal or oil. So we really have to invest in other alternatives such as nuclear, no? Hopefully napanood niyo yung aking discussion doon. At the end, I tried to debunk some ideas about nuclear, Bataan Nuclear Power Plant, no? According to news reports as well. Okay, so ayun, other than nuclear, sana mag-invest din tayo sa solar, no? And currently in the Philippines, marami na rin naman nagsa-solar, no? Even off-grid solar panels, no? Okay, kunwari kayo, mag-apply kayo niyan, no? Off-grid solar panel. Pwede yung sobrang energy na na-harvest nyo, ibenta nyo sa Meralco. Pwede yon, no? Kaya minsan yung mga may solar panel sa bahay, bumababa yung electricity bill nila kasi nare-reverse yung yung sobrang kuryente na nakukuha nila sa solar panel. Dinadala nila sa power grid ng Meralco. Ayun. So, yun lang. So, ibig sabihin, possible naman, although hindi ganun talaga siya ka-efficient, there are many reasons why solar panels aren't that good enough, no, compared to nuclear. Although nuclear is medyo may danger din, pero overall safe naman yan. Iilan lang yun na aksidente. Iilan lang talaga, dalawa lang, tatlo. Over the hundreds of nuclear power plants in the world, no. Ito namang solar panel, medyo mahal kasi talaga to. Kasi silicone to eh. Saan ba ginagamit silicone? Sa mga integrated circuits natin. So mahal talaga siya, no. But hopefully we will improve the materials, no. So may emerging photovoltaic cells tayo that sometimes doesn't use silicone, such as the organic cells, no, and the quantum dot cells, no. They don't use silicone eh. So ito yung trend nila. So upwards din. So they started at 2%, ngayon they are at 18%. Mababa pa rin, pero at least improving. So kayo, malay nyo in the future, you will design trains kasi kayo ay railway engineering technology. In the future, may railway engineer din kayo. Try to make trains na may built-in solar panel na better, no? So, try nyo lang, no? Case study nyo. Kasi, currently, majority of the power in Metro Manila is from, coal power plants, no? The Malampaya Oil power plant, basta yon. Wala tayong nuclear, so we really have to do something else, no? Ayun lang, kasi if we don't, naisip ni Marvin, 'di ba? Kasi ang init-init no. Tsaka by the way, ang semiconductor hindi yan na hindi yan kinakalawang. Okay? Hindi kinakalawang semiconductors. Kaya isipin mo yung body ng trend na solar panel talaga siya completely. Hindi nga lang gagana kapag gabi. Hindi, pwede naman magka-battery, no? Kaya, ayun. O, gamitan nyo ng electrochem o batteries, di ba? Marami kang pwedeng i-apply dito sa, Chem for Eng, no? Kasi may ways tayo to generate electricity and then we also have ways to store electricity. So, you just use our knowledge dito sa subject na to. Malay nyo, magamit nyo yan sa thesis nyo or sa case study in the future. Okay? So, let's still be optimistic, no? Medyo matagal pa naman bago maging malala lahat sa mundo. When I say medyo matagal, that's around a decade na lang. Medyo malapit na rin tayo maghirap dahil sa mga pinagagawa ng oil companies. But ayun, let's hope na we can push the legislature to a greener alternative such as solar, nuclear, or wind. Ang wind, okay din eh. Then, nakapunta ako sa sa Pililla, Rizal. Ang daming wind turbines doon. Pwede mo nga ata gawing yung attraction yun eh. Nakatali ka sa dulo ng turbine tapos inikot-ikot ka. Basta. Hopefully we invest on that na. Kayo, mga engineers kayo in the future, keep in mind to reduce the use of coal, no? Kasi mamamatay na tayo. Pag nag-anak pa kayo, yung anak nyo naman yung magsasuffer, no? Kaya, as much as possible, engineers kayo, do your best, no? Kami naman sa science, ang goal ko ay information dissemination, which I am doing naman, no? So, yan. Kasi, kapag hindi tayo nagpalit, wala na. Kita-kits na lang sa langit, kung sa langit tayo. Okay. Last topic will be the polymers, no? Last topic na to for today. Polymers, dalawang uri yan. We have the natural and the synthetic, no? So, when I say natural, these are found in biological species such as us, no? Yung ating DNA, that's a polymer made of nucleotides, no? Yung ating mga ATCG plus the sugars and the phosphate group, no? Polymer yon bale, no? DNA. Ano pa? Yung ating protein sa ating katawan, the enzymes, they are polymers, no? Biopolymers yan. Collagen sa ating skin, the keratin in our hair, sa ating kuko, yan. So lahat yan ay mga polymers, no? And they are made of monomers, no? Monomers are the basic units of polymer, no? Parang sa unit cell lang din. You have the crystal, then ang basic unit nun ay unit cell. So polymers, ganun din. Okay? So, sa natural polymers, di na natin discuss masyado to. This is biology, biochemistry din. So, I believe you have an idea naman na yung DNA natin ay polymer. Pati yung ating skin ay polymer din. No? And then, ang gagawin natin is to focus on the synthetic ones. No? Kasi ito yung mga nasa paligid natin. Especially our laptops, our cellphone, itong foam ng aking microphone na malaki, itong pencil, itong mouse, lahat yan may mga synthetic polymers, no? So just like natural polymers, synthetic polymers are made of monomers, no? However, the monomers are not biomolecules, okay? Such as this one, ethylene, no? Propylene, and etc. Okay, so depending on your monomer, you can create a different type of polymer, such as kunwari, if you have an ethylene, you can create a polyethylene polymer, no? Polyethylene or PET, the PET. So, saan ginagamit yung PET? Pwedeng bottles, pwedeng bags, pwedeng clothing, toys, etc. Okay? If you have a polypropylene, We call that PP, no? Polypropylene. Yan naman ay ginagamit for containers, no? Kunwari, you have the vinyl chloride. If i-polymerize mo yan, you will have polyvinyl chloride or the PVC. Ginagamit yan sa tubo ng tubig, no? PVC pipe. No? So you have the acrylonitrile. I'm not really familiar with this one, pero ginagamit daw siya sa rugs, sa basahan. Polystyrene, ito yung nasa styrofoam, kaya nga styrene, styrofoam. Okay, so yan yung mga nasa styrofoam. And as you can see, ang ating polystyrene, may ring siya. Ito ay tinatawag nating benzene. Kumikidlat na naman. Okay, so may benzene ring tayo. Ayan yung reason bakit yung ating styrofoam hindi pwede i-microwave or bawal din yung super init na pagkain sa styrofoam. Bakit? Kasi if you microwave your styrofoams, most likely, those benzene rings will detach from the polymer chain. When it detaches and got absorbed by your body, magkaka-cancer ka. Indirectly speaking, magkaka-cancer ka. Okay? Kasi in styrene, it can actually fit in between your DNA. No? Yung DNA natin, flat yan, di ba? Naka-twist yan, ikot-ikot, flat. Yung benzene pwede yun umipit doon. Pag umipit yun doon, problem yun. Okay. So that's why you should not microwave styrofoam nor put very hot food in the styrofoam. Otherwise, pwede mag-melt yung styrofoam, maglabas yan ng benzene. Pag yan ay nakain nyo, you will develop chances na magka-cancer. No? Kaya mag-ingat. Okay? Even yung mga inihaw, no, yung itim doon, marami yung benzene ring. Okay. Marami yung polyaromatic hydrocarbons, the PAHs. So kapag nag-iihaw kayo, wag din sunog na sunog, no? Alam ko medyo masarap pero mamamatay kayo agad pag puro ganun. Pwede kayo magka-colon cancer because they contain benzene rings. Okay? So mag-ingat, no? Okay. So just be safe sa pagkain. Then we have the methyl methacrylate, the PMMA. So ginagamit yan sa mga resins, no? And then yung sa mga plexiglass, no? Yung ginagamit nila ngayon sa yung mga dividers sa Jollibee, no? Sa McDo, ayan. So yan yung mga PMMA, the methyl acrylate. No? Okay? So and then you have the tetrafluoroethylene or Teflon. Okay, so Teflon. Very familiar tayo yan. Kasi yan ay ginagamit sa non-stick frying pan, no? And ginagamit din yan sa PVC pipe, no? 'Di ba? If pagdudugtungin mo sila, lalagyan mo ng Teflon para humigpit na, walang leak. Okay? So, you may ask siguro, no, paano nagagawa yung mga synthetic polymers? Kasi yung ating biological polymers, they are created by our ribosomes, no? Yung mga proteins natin, they are created by the ribosomes. Yung DNA naman, they are created by several enzymes, several biomolecules when it comes to replication, no? Marami tayong mga polymerase that creates the DNA, no? Pero kapag synthetic, paano ginagawa yan? Madali lang. There are two common ways in creating synthetic polymers. One is the addition polymer. So in addition polymer, what happens is that you are actually adding the polymers together. Pinag-add mo lang sila through radical reactions. No? A radical is a molecule with a lone electron. Okay, iisang electron. May sobra siyang isang electron. For example, this is a peroxide. That is the lone electron, and lone electrons are very reactive. So when the lone electron attaches to your monomer, it will kickstart a very long reaction called the radical reaction. So ayan, pag dumikit yung ating radicals sa ating monomer, magtutuloy-tuloy yan. Okay, tuloy-tuloy na magdudugtong-dugtong sila. So commonly, the addition reaction is done when you have a double bond. Okay? Kapag may double bond yan, reactive yan sa ating radicals. So magdudugtong-dugtong lang sila. So for example, here, you have here the ethylene, okay? And then when you react it with the peroxide, one example is the hydrogen peroxide, agua oxinada. Pag pinag-react mo yan, it will form the polyethylene. Okay? Yan. So, mabansin mo, the radicals will attack the double bonds. No? The carbon containing the double bonds. So, yan. Maraming ways, no? Pwedeng free radical reaction or kagaya ng ginawa ko sa thesis ko, irradiation using gamma rays, no? So I used the Cobalt-60 facility of the Philippine Nuclear Research Institute here. Mura lang yung pagpapa-irradiate sa kanila. 200 lang ata pag student. Pero pag researcher, 5,000. Okay? So, pero dati pa yan. I don't know ngayon. So, ayan. This is a liquid acrylamide. This is a very toxic. No? If you came in contact with this thing, pwede ka mamatay agad-agad. Buhay pa naman ako. So, ibig sabihin, hindi pa ako natamaan yan. I was very cautious when mixing this kasi nakakatakot sobra. Okay, so you have this acrylamide. Okay, so minix ko lang yan, liquid yan. Then using the concept of addition polymerization, I made radicals using gamma rays emitted by the Cobalt-60 atom. Nag-emit siya ng gamma rays when it hits the acrylamide, may radical. And then itong double bond, magdudugtong-dugtong sila. Okay, so may in-gel yan. So ito, hindi to safe, pero ito, pwede hawakan. And actually, amoy, amoy kasaba cake. Ang bangon, sarap. Amoy yan. Pero hindi pwede kainin. As in, pagkabukas ko, sabi ko, bango-bango. Ang gusto ko kainin, kaso bawal. Okay. Gelatin siya, generally. Ayan. Then, ginamit ko to in order to pull out atoms, metal ions sa water. Okay, so effective naman siya. The other way of making polymers is the condensation reaction. So pag sinabing condensation reaction, you react two molecules and then they will condense. No? They will form water at the end. No? Okay, so saan to ginagamit? One example of this one is the nylon. Okay, so in creating nylon, all you have to do is to mix adipic acid with this hexamethylene-diamine. Okay, so they will condense to form this amide linkage and water molecule, and that will continue until your nylon is formed. No? To give you an idea, ito yon. This is a mixture of adipic acid and hexamethylene-diamine. Okay, so pag pinagmix mo yung dalawang yan, may makikita kang white na cloud. Yung white na cloud na yan, pag hinila mo yan, nylon na yan. So you will just continue pulling it until the reaction is complete. So such as shown here, iniikot-ikot yan para maging nylon string. Okay? So you can watch a video on that sa YouTube. Nile-Red has a video on that na. Nanonood ako ng Nile-Red sa YouTube, kaya wala na, nakakamiss mag-lab. Paghaluin mo lang talaga, tapos yan, may nylon ka na. So, alam nyo naman saan ginagamit nylon, sa fishing nets, no? Sa damit minsan. Okay? Yan. Kasi ang nylon na damit ay mainit. Kaya ayaw ko. Okay, so ito pa, this is Teflon naman. Teflon, since may double bond yan, so most likely the polymer is created with addition polymerization. Basta yun lang yung aking tip, no? Basta may double bond, most likely addition reaction. Pero kapag yan ay may mga functional groups such as the carboxylic acid and the amines, no, that can condense to form amide linkages, condensation, polymerization. Yeah. However, hindi na tayo magfo-focus sa chemical reactions kasi organic chem part to. Okay? So yun lang. So those are the examples. Copolymers such as nylon. Nylon is a copolymer. Ano ibig sabihin kapag copolymer? You have two different monomers. No? Pwedeng two or more types of monomers. No? Papansin mo, sa ating nylon, you have adipic acid and the hexamethylene-diamine. So, dalawang magkaibang monomers yan na nagdudugtong-dugtong. No? So, we call that the copolymers. No? There are many types of copolymers such as alternating. Yun yung nakikita sa nylon, 6,6. And then you have the block copolymer, the random copolymer, and the graph copolymer. No? Kwentuhan ko lang kayo about graph copolymerization. Ito rin kasi ginagawa ng isang group sa PNRI during my OJT there. And currently yung friend ko na si Andrew, may picture siya sa Facebook na ayun, hawak niya yung column ng ano. Pinost kasi yun ng DOST, no? So pag may nakita kayong graph polymerization, may lalaki na nakahawak ng tube, siya yon, si Andrew yan. Okay, ka-OJT ko yan dati. So ano yun, you have this abaca fiber, no? That's a polymer, cellulose, no? Dinudugtungan nila ng other molecules, no? I'm not really familiar kung anong molecules yun kasi kabilang room sila nun eh. So yun, dinudugtungan nila ng other molecules. Kung parang nagkakaroon ng branching, kaya graph tawag doon. You have their main trunk and then itong mga branches are your graft. No? Parang sa puno lang din, di ba? Nag-grafting tayo sa puno. Tutusok mo nun yung molecule sa isang strand. No? So yun, ginagamit din nila yon to remediate heavy metals in water. Okay? And so far, effective yan. Okay, so also we have two major types of plastics. Two major types of polymers depending on their behavior in temperature. No, so we have the thermoplastics and the thermosets. No, pag thermoplastics, sila yung weak. No, sila yung mga mabibilis matunaw. For example, yung plastic bottles natin sa bahay. Okay, so bakit sila kaya mabilis matunaw? Kasi possible that they are not cross-linked. No. Ang thermosets kasi ay cross-link. Ano meaning kapag cross-link? Ang cross-linking ay ganito. You have a polymer chain, magkadugtong sila. Okay? Such as this one. Polymer chain, magkadugtong sila. Pag walang cross-linking, hindi ganun katibay. No? Because the dominant forces there are pwedeng van der Waals, pwedeng dipole. So medyo weak lang. So you will expect the thermoplastics are weaker than the thermosets. However, it doesn't naman natin yung thermoplastics na because each type of polymer serve a different function. Okay? So iba-iba kasi function na. So technically, walang good, walang bad. No? Depende lang sa gamit. For example, if you want a very moldable plastic and recyclable plastic, you can use a thermoplastic. No? Okay? Yan yung mga PET bottles natin. You can reheat that para maging pellets. Then, i-remold mo ulit yan. Okay yan. Pag thermosets naman, these are the polymers that are used in, for example, engines sa sasakyan. For example, just last time, I just saw a video on YouTube, no? Na yung carburetor, no? Carburador sa sasakyan. Yung carburador, yun yung naghahalo ng air and gas, no? Yeah. You know, it mixes the air and gas before it goes to the engine itself. No? Yun yung carburetor. No? So, sabi niya sa YouTube, no, si engineer, basta yun, Smarter Everyday, ayun, yung YouTube channel na yun. May video sa dyan eh. Kakapanood ko lang kahapon nata or last time. Anyway, so yung carburetor na ginawa nila, 3D printed, so ibig sabihin plastic yun na thermoset. No? Okay. So, yung mga thermoset, ito yung mga kaya mag-withstand ng higher temperature. Plastic sila, yes, pero they don't melt agad-agad. No? Okay. So, one shape, they cannot be melted. Okay. So, most likely, di sila recyclable. Pero not all naman. No? So, yun, again, different types of plastic serves different purpose. So, wala naman talagang good and bad side sa kanila. Mahalaga, alam natin that they pollute the ocean and the marine life is dying. Okay. So ito yung parang greatest invention sa science na may great cost din. No? Kasi nung time na nagkaroon ng plastic, grabe, daming potential na nagawa. No? Naging mura yung mga appliances kasi plastic na lang sila. Dati kasi kailangan bakal eh. So, naging very cost-efficient siya. However, yung cost sa nature, very great din. Malaki rin yung epekto. So, anyway, as consumers, tayo yung mga consumer, we really cannot, yung ating part in preventing the plastic use is a very minimal effort lang, no? Kailangan kasi yung regulation on plastic use must be implemented sa companies, not on individuals, no? Kasi kahit di ka gumamit ng plastic sa isang taon, as long as the company is producing plastic materials, walang-wala yun. No? So, kumbaga, it is not the consumer's fault in reality. Rather, it's the company's fault. No? Yan sila yung mga major pollutants talaga. I think I saw a news article last time stating that yung ilang companies sa United States, they contribute to almost majority of the plastic waste on earth. So sila yung mga nasa Procter and Gamble, Johnson Johnson, mga ganun. Basta yun lang. So I just don't like the way they frame individuals as the cause of pollution, kung sila naman talaga yung dahilan ng pollution. But anyways, let's still be responsible. If you use plastic, which is obviously ginagawa pa rin naman natin ngayon because hindi natin maiwasan gumamit ng plastic because it's very convenient, wag nyo na lang itapon kung saan-saan. Okay? For example, may candy ka, plastic yon, wag nyo itapon sa kalsada. Kasi may pinag-aralan naman kayo eh. So alam niyo kung saan napupunta yung plastic na yon. Napupunta yun sa marine life. So pag may pinag-aralan, act like may pinag-aralan. Okay? So ganun lang aking pangungonsensya sa mga students ko. Okay. Patunayan natin may pinag-aralan tayo by doing something good for the environment. And of course, be an advocate pala. Be an advocate for cleaner methods in sa producing energy or sa mga materials. Okay? Basta ganun lang. Okay, so that